The national accord that was signed on 28th February in the slopes of Harambee House, a deal that was hatched by Kofi Annan after protracted 2 months fight over election that gave us reprieve, had some 4 agendas. However, 15 years down the line, we seem to have forgotten where we came from. And Agenda 4 in the National Accord remain unresolved. The nation is slowly rolling back, and it's paying the price of its silence in Agenda 4. The country is again entertaining a perennial land crisis. Welcome to the Bold Analysis, and thank you very much for your support. In this podcast, we are going to relook the question of land crisis, and I'm going to draw reference to the Kofi Annan led commission, eminent persons that really helped us solve the 2007-2008 post-election skirmishes. The Agenda 4, Agenda 4 was looking at long-term measures and solutions such as constitutional, institutional, and legal reforms that will help us solve the land question and poverty and bring inequity and employment. Particularly, it was the pillars of national cohesion and unity and transparency, and that would address the togetherness in one. I want to say this: land skirmishes is actually a very thorny issue that is a threat to the national cohesion of a country. But the tragedy we have is that we are seeing men turning against each other, public grabbing of property, and rapid invasion of private land and property, with land ownership coming back to haunt us. Now, the UDA administration we have, and again, I think the gods have just conspired against this country. We have those in political leadership as young, juvenile politicians, and they don't have a blend of eminent persons. They are the team that do not want to listen to what happened in the past, and they want to know what's happening now, blindfolded, and cannot see beyond what belongs to them. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to look at different events in the recent past that is really pointing this land question crisis. But before that, let me take this moment to remind you about a fundraiser to support the young couple. I'm just really getting a bit of feeling it because the wife is still in the hospital and the gentleman have to move every day to take the child there for breastfeeding. The lady was actually delivered, and there was complication, tear and excessive bleeding, and so the bill ballooned to 80,000. They have not yet in a position to finish it, and so we're just trying to chip in to support to make sure that bill is covered, and also the guy gets a footing in terms of how he can start up the business he was doing, which was in border. So I want us to make sure that probably if it's possible, I'm going to find out so that we can release the lady on Saturday. I think what the target has reached now, 53,000. Yes, 52,000. Yes. So I believe Pola tukijaza will get to it. Kindly, let's make this work. This is it. Moi family, according to what I was actually reading that article here, that Kenyatta family and Moi families, and especially Moi family, are opting to make sure that all their lands are fenced. And Huru has also been deployed with high security of its land structures, land assets. So they've decided that all has to be fenced. And again, there is also calls to make sure that they're in active use so that it not come a question. Now, let me look at this. This video seen here is a land CAS, Kimani Ngujiri, in confrontation with a group of youth over something that was deemed of a land that he hired that land from someone, but that land is in contention, and you see a situation where people know that land belongs to Mheshimiwa. In fact, CAS in terms of land, in charge of lands, but people opted. There is no fear. They are confronting the leaders. I looked at it, and I think you point out how people got audacity that this is a former member of parliament who is also assistant minister, I think, to the community. They understand he's assistant minister, and people have the audacity to confront you one-on-one. That's what I'm saying. That we created it, and it seems it's eating our own. It's eating us ourselves. Just get a soundbite of what Kimani Ngujiri said about that raid.
Na nikaenda kuangalia wakilima walikuwa wanalima hata kama zifika, lakini mimi kufika ndio waliweza kuta watu zaidi ya 50 na mapanga na shoka na nini walikuwa wanataka kuniua. So ukiangalia mzuri ni kitu ilikuwa na mpango na ni kitu walijua ninakuja hapo kwa shamba. Na ni ajabu sana kwa sababu kama hatuwezi kukubali kutumia sheria na kuheshimu, kwa sababu kama kungekuwa na dispute wangefanya hiyo.
That video I was actually hurt, and someone was even shot. If you want to realize this thing is very deep, the guy who was allegedly arrested there was also released the next minute. So that was in Nakuru, and in the same Nakuru, I'll show you another video yet, but before that, I want to say this. Leaders have been spewing vengeful land narratives, oblivious of the risk of charging the masses. And land is slowly profiling us along our tribes, along our families, and status in the community. Long gone are those days that those who hold huge tracts of land were really regarded as. I don't think we should go back to that. The leaders, and that's why I say that it was taken lightly, but guys, it is not normal. We should not normalize a situation where a leader of majority in the National Assembly made a statement about how we were going to invade Uhuru Kenyatta's land, and true to that word, it happened. Now, this is what Nani said. And look at how they don't care, listen to this Ichung'wah statement.
Sisi wa Kenya wa hapa Mount Kenya tuko na maswali mingi ya zile mashamba kubwa kubwa mumejishikia, tukianzia na hapo Thika Road Nairobi, hapo Ruiru. Kabla hatujaenda Taita Taveta, kabla hatujaenda Nakuru, mali ya Mkenya ikivamiwa, hata hizo mashamba zenyu tutazivamia, na wenye hawana mashamba wapate mashamba. Even with an intention
to invade someone's land, true to that, it happened. Yes. After some time, actually we saw this was validated by attack on that Northland city in full glare of the cameras. While policemen kept a distance, people were actually ferried, taken there. They dismantled the fence, and then went there, some dummy subdividing the land as they're taking their own land. And again, apart from that, they steal the sheep there and sell to road bypassers at throwaway prices. Now, I've always not gotten it, but let me tell you the risk. When you tell someone that you go there and subdivide, then people go with mabati structures and subdividing that the land is theirs. No, we are creating some cultic land ownership euphoria. We are simply trying to tell, and that's why I say that the tragedy we have in this country is that we have young leaders, political leaders that sometimes in 2007, I was in primary school. But bit of what I saw in the past could still make me have a judgment that this is right. But to the political leadership, we have a leadership that do not care about what's the risk. You can't create, we are creating a Cultic Land ownership. Like, it's like if you don't have land, you don't belong. And so that happened. And if you don't think this thing is light, well, let me tell you. Listen to this. I wanted to listen to this gentleman. Now, this was again in Inversion. People invaded. There was also an attempt at another one in Kilifi. Now, this one, people invaded the land and were even tilling. After tilling, they came out and, this is what transpired about it.
Shamba tulikuja 202. Tukapata hapa akiwa msituni kabisa. Tukakuja tukafieka. Tukakaa 202, 203, 204, 205, 206. Hii shamba ikawa imekuwa tumeng'oa kisiki na imekuwa shamba. Tukawa mahali pale serikali akakuja akasema hii shamba ni ya mwenyewe ambaye hatujui ni nani. Akakuja akatuchomea manyumba.
I believe.
Akatufurusha sisi tukaenda tukaishi pamoja. Ni kweli. Sisi tukakaa tena 207. Sisi tukaingia tena tukaanza kulima Center 1. Tukakaa 2018. Serikali ikakuja tena. Sisi tumekuwa watu ya kufieka msituni. Ikiwa amekuja kama mashamba kama hii, watu wanakuja sijui wanatoka Nairobi, sijui wanatoka Mali wanatua.
That we are all conflicted in this matter. It did not start with William Ruto. We've had administrations all the way from 2007. There was Grand Coalition. Then there was Uhuru 1, Uhuru 2, and then Ruto 1. But we've hanged the boots on Agenda 4. I'm so cocksure. If by any chance something will happen today and Kofi Annan, late Kofi Annan, will rise from dead and find himself in Kenya and confronted with a question on 2007, he will ask you actually say that Agenda 4 remain. But let me tell you, political crisis is normally temporary. We've always had temporary solution. Go for handshake, temporary, after 4 months, we are rolling back here. After 2007, we always have 2007, we always have temporary solutions. But this one, we need to look at it in a permanent way. President Ruto, it's a matter of urgency that you confront the land invasion, unless we must stop land before land stops us from living in it. It can become hot. If we can't stop this, it will also stop us. This sporadic, and what's really wondering many people is that why is there this sporadic appetite for the land? We had even Uhuru Kenyatta's time. We did see this appetite. This was here. Even if Uhuru wanted to grab land during his reign, he could. But what is this? What is causing this? It's better we need to have that argument. Let me borrow something. Remember during the tax question where someone said that Uhuru Kenyatta were never paying and they don't exercise duty, estates duty. It was started to bring a debate about taxes and change the law on the taxes, the fact that they were having some tax exemptions. So if UDA wants to bring such a debate, then just go straight. Let's not create the scenes so that when the debate come in, it might become too late to even manage. There are 4 things that is bringing this appetite for land. The number 1 aspect is this, and I blame it entirely. Collapsed judicial arbitration and alternative resolutions. But then I am a very strong defender of alternative conflict resolution. I think the judiciary has not done enough to arbitrate land questions. I was just reading an article in The Nation where there is a land question that has been there since 1974 and has never been resolved to date. The judges that started even died and lawyers died and the story has just been changing. It's about a widow, I think. So we need to solve, because some of these cases have dragged in court until people lose track. Then people lose hope whether there is going to be ever a solution. And from there, people think, yes, it's now our time just to grab. Our time to grab is a culture. And I mentioned it in my previous analysis. Our time to eat, it's a culture. It's a grabbing. There's some sort of a grabbing culture. And the grabbing culture is here. Let me tell you. The leaders who know very well that they work with William Ruto in this first term, and maybe in second term they may not even work with him, including even Ruto himself. There is a probability of change of guard if things don't work. But even if I change of guard, but I must change guard with what I want. We are in the mode of what I can have now for me and my family and my friends. And Ruto is lacking the land agenda. I'm not seeing concrete, solid land agenda in that plan. I'm not seeing, apart from some populist agenda of giving some few squatters title deeds. But I'm not seeing land agenda. If you're seeing, I wish you can share with me. There is a conspiracy plan to diminish political influence of the two giants, Kenyatta and Moi. So it's part of the suppression. When it comes, they're really showing that they are some of the biggest beneficiaries of land in this country. So I think it's also an effort on suppression. But sorry to say, dead on arrival. Lastly, this is what I say. Emergence of blue-eyed land tenderpreneurs as state rolls out mega projects. State is rolling out projects and people want to partake, and they know that land is needed, especially even for investments and for investors. So land becoming an asset. Kenya is at a stage where we are at the uptake. Not yet in it, but we are at the uptake. So that's my take in it. Clearly, we are playing with fire. On this one, President Ruto must take personal responsibility. Keep off these young leaders and face this. Let's revisit Agenda 4, at least for now. And for the constitutional review process, I think it should be somewhere in one of the chapters.
After she gave birth, mtoto alikuwa nursery after 5 days. So after 5 days from nursery, we went back home. We were just home, things were well. After some few weeks, then wife got complications. Alianza kubleed, mysteriously bleeding, and I was shocked. Ran out to call the doctor, and the doctor told me to bring the lady in the hospital.
Wapi? Unaishi wapi?
Okay, naishi Dandora, phase 5. Okay. So daktari alijaribu, akashindwa. The lady was seriously bleeding. Akaniambia nitafute taxi to rush mgonjwa Kenyatta. Nikafanya hivyo, tukafika Kenyatta. Wakati nilifika Kenyatta, mama alikuwa admitted. Na from hapo, so
alikuwa admitted sasa Kenyatta.
Alikuwa admitted Kenyatta hospital.
Na wakati alikuwa admitted the child now, but the child, okay. The child is fine?
By the time...
But then this is the child?
Yeah.
And
this is my baby.
This is your baby? And
yeah.
Ni baby boy and
baby boy. Jason.
Oh, good. Even my son was born in February. So, now where are you from first?
Okay, right now I'm from the Kenyatta Hospital. Nilipeleka mtoto kunyonya. And that is how I always do it. Nampeleka, ananyonya, namrudisha kwa nyumba.
Unampeleka kila siku?
Daily.
In the morning ama unakana the whole day?
No. Nampeleka in the evening. In the evening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then sasa saa hiyo ukitoka unaenda tu mnalala?
Saa hii nikitoka naenda kwa nyumba. So nikiwa pale kwa nyumba, mtoto ana survive na maziwa ya kuchemsha. Nachemsha, naongeza maji kidogo. And that's it.
Wow. You've really impressed me. How about the child? Yeah, alikuwa sawa hata wakitoka Pumwani?
Okay, mtoto wakati tulikuwa tunatoka Pumwani, mtoto since alikunywa ile amniotic fluid, ile uchafu. So mtoto amekuwa na shida hiyo ya kungorota, anangorota. Ni kama anafungana hewa.
Okay.
So doctors gave me some medicine ile ya kudrop kwa mapua wakati anatoa hiyo sauti. So hiyo ndo nimekuwa nikitumia. But still at times nasikia anatoa hiyo sauti kama
hata sasa nasikia na
hata sasa. Yeah.
What did the doctors in Kenyatta say was the problem?
Doctors in Kenyatta waliniambia mama wakati alizaa kuna vile mtoto alimrarua, they got a tear. So walimshona, alienda theater wakamshona.
Na alizaa normal?
Alizaa normal.
Na tear. Okay. So, anafaa show me or something. Okay. Yeah. We may not understand because we don't have a lady here.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was what was bringing the complication about the bleeding.
Yeah.
Guys, I was told this, and I really got touched by his story, Stephen's story. You know, when he was telling me you were in Kenyatta, and I was like, okay, what's going on? So it's been there for how many days?
Since date second.
Date second.
Yeah.
The bill is
80,000.
80,000.
Yeah.
Wow. But then now that you take care every evening, when do you go to work now? Do you even go to work now that?
No. Okay. About my work, I'm a bodaboda rider. Na pikipiki naendesha ni ya mtu na ni ya loan. So wakati nilikuwa na hii shida, pikipiki ilibidi tu iendelee kufanya kazi sababu inalipwa daily. So mwenyewe alichukua na alitafuta mwingine aendelee.
Oh, so what you normally your work is kuendesha boda?
Yes.
So because of this, that is you can. But then how do you survive? Okay, you should not ask that. So should get. What is the terms of the loan? How much do you pay to get a pikipiki and loan so that you pay boda maybe?
Okay, for now, loan walipandisha nini deposit. Kwa saa hii deposit ni 25,000.
Okay. Then so if you get 25,000,
yes,
you go and pay, and you're given a motorbike on loan.
Yeah.
Then you pay is the rest in installments.
Yeah.
Which you can manage.
I can manage to get 500 per day.
You unapata endesha around Dandora.
Yeah.
Wow. Guys, I brought Stephen here because I wanted us to get feel of this story, and this is one we can do this. We've always done this. This is 80,000. Today's date 14. If you give yourself 1 week, Friday. Yeah, so let's try. Let's do a 50 shillings challenge. I've decided not to. I'm going to share the number, nobody's number, because of a bit of that disturbance, but I am also asking those who can be willing to reach out to me. My number is there. I'll directly connect you with him so that whichever God has blessed you with, at least I talk. So Mama amekaa hospitali for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you guys are young couples, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, and may God bless you for being a father to this child. I know it's really touching. It's really touching the heart, and I believe that as Bold family, this will come to an end. I know we will find a way. Okay.
I appreciate it.
Sawa. Asante. Aya.